this is a platform for you to watch. You can choose the platform online. You can use your mobile phone. You can enter this page. For example, you can have two of the apps downloaded, and then on the page of the live programs, you can find our report. So you can join us at any moment, anywhere for the watch of the tidal war. And we are giving to you this new media report, and some other cameramen, they are in preparation. And over there, you can see that there's another journalist. She's reporting to you, and she's also the director in charge. First of all, we'd like to show you what are the preparations we have done. Hello everyone, dear viewers. We know that today you have two roles to play. The first is a journalist, another is the chief director. First of all, from the angle of the view of the journalist, please say something to our audience. As you can see that we are still running for the preparation. A lot of work to be prepared before the opening of the program. We have attached a great importance to this program. So in the cabin of the direction, with the directors, the colleagues, and the cameramen, we have to finalize all the preparations before the start of our watch today, so that we could give you a perfect show on the Qiantang River tidal war. After playing the role of the journalist, I have to come to my desk. You may think of a traditional performance of a journalist. You can just stand there and give the report. However, today, to give you the report on the tidal war of the Qiantang River, there is something different with today's work. We have to look at this black box, the string, very carefully, and we have to follow the movements, and then we should take up the role as the commentator. We should explain to you what is happening on the screen, so that even though that you are watching the program far away at your home, you can still feel this enthusiasm with the Qiantang River tidal war. So as you can tell, I have two roles to play. On the one hand as the journalist, and on the other hand as the director in charge. So we will leave you back to your work. That is the real life for journalists. We have to do a lot of the preparations, and also as mentioned by our chief director, we are in full preparation for this. Even though the final report will only last for several dozens of minutes, we have to prepare a lot of things in advance. And we don't know exactly at what moment this tidal war would come. However, we should be ready at any moment. Because the report on the tidal war is totally different from the other things, from the other news, because there are so many uncertainties with the tidal war from the river, so we cannot tell you exactly at what moment we will start our report. But we have to wait until the tidal comes. So in this case, we have to collaborate very closely in the front line and with our backup force. This year marks the 9th year of report on the Qiantang River tidal war. So I think that for this year, we have to come up with some new ideas. We should do some innovation in the report. So on the internet, for our online platform, we'd like to have a carnival about this Qiantang River. Since the dynasties, for example, the South Song dynasty, the Qiantang River tidal war was already considered as a time of joy and a carnival. So I think that we could renew that habit and also bring people to this joyful event. As you can tell that we are wearing those t-shirts with the topic of our report. The topic reads, "Hi, look at the tide." And if you are following our WeChat official account or the Weibo official account, you should find some differences from the previous year's report. From the TV and programs, you may think that the title war looks like a gentleman in costume, very elegant person. However, from our online platform, you would think that it turns out to be a very young person and very active and motivated. Actually, I know that for this Qiantang River tidal bore, we have also attracted the attention of a lot of foreign visitors and fans. We are doing our best to present to you from a different angle this new round of tidal bore from the Qiantang River. And for those who are not able to come to the spot, we are also providing with some new channels and platforms for you to view the tidal bore. Even though you cannot watch our program on time, you could still have a review of the program. And what is your feeling now? Actually, I think it's like an old friend. Okay, the title board is about to come. I'm very familiar with it. On the 4th year of the elementary school education, there's an article in the textbook telling us about this tidal war in the Qiantang River. And then, when I came to the TV station for 9 years in a row, I've been reporting about the tidal war. Okay, we've received the information that the tidal war would come in 10 minutes. So in about 10 minutes, we can start our report. So taking this gap, I'd like to show you how many people are preparing for this real-time report in the cabin of the directors. Okay, could you please let me through? As you can tell that there were so many lovely visitors here on the spot to watch the tidal war. And during the walk, there will be some problems with our signal. Sometimes the program will be cut. Please do not be worried. And some visitors, they have also brought their children to the place to watch the tidal war. And also lots of policemen here to secure this event. They are working hard because so many people, the visitors, are here in a crowded place. That makes a very huge workload for the policemen. Here we are at the place of Yanguan in Haining City, and it is one of the best spots to watch the tidal bore. And why we have so many people in Yanguan? Since ancient China, a lot of literals have left their stories and works in the place. For example, Wang Guowei, the poet, and Jin Yong, the writer, and also some other literals, they have lived in the place. Now we're going to reveal the secret to you and what is happening inside the cabin of the directors. Just now we have interviewed the lady who is the chief director and also the journalist, the front line. However, here you can see the other pictures captured on the screen. As you can see, the tidal bore is coming. And the tidal bore would arrive in 5 minutes at Yanguan. And on the right-hand side, this is the picture captured by the camera on the helicopter. And every year, by the 18th of August, according to China's lunar calendar, there are always so many people crowded here to see the tidal bore of the Qiantang River. And dear viewers, now is the right moment for you to open your TV, turn on your TV, and also to open your app on your mobile phone to watch the tidal bore. So we can give you 360 degrees of the report on the tidal bore because we have different positions of the camera. On the right-hand side, this is the helicopter picture. We are waiting for the coming of the tidal bore. And the tidal bore is about to arrive by this end of the pagoda. And there's another colleague who's about to take the relay and give you the on-spot report about the Qiantang River tidal bore. We are waiting patiently for the coming of the tidal bore.
可以了吧，邵鹏？邵鹏，我前面。还不行吗？还不行。没事儿，早点开始没关系。可以吗？
Welcome to Yanguan, the spot to watch the Qiantang River tidal bore. From our camera, you can see the head of the tidal bore. However, according to our experience, it still takes some more minutes for the tidal bore to arrive at the watching place. Already there are so many people waiting here. We have set up more than 30 positions of camera. Today we are together with more than 30,000 people in the place, but still, we think that we cannot give you the on-place experience of the watch for the tidal bore. And this morning, we have taken the record of the first visitor to arrive. He arrived at 7 o'clock in the morning. That means he waited for more than 6 hours. And for the majority of the people, they have waited for 2 or 3 hours. We say that the Qiantang River tidal bore is one of the world miracles. And if you want to see, you have to have patience and wait. And you know that it's very meaningful to wait for something special. And now, let's see where it is now. Our start today, the tidal bore of the Qiantang River. On the screen, you could see that far away there's the white line. That is the head of the tidal bore, weighted by so many people, and one step after another, it's advancing slowly. It has passed the new water data collection tower, and it's moving towards the old water information tower. The waiting for the tidal bore is also part of the watch because it's a very familiar friend of us. During the 4th year elementary school education, there is an article in our textbook. It is written that the Qiantang River tidal bore is considered as one of the world's biggest miracles. For many people watching here, it is the first time for them to watch this miracle on the spot. Now, the head of the tidal bore has passed by the old tower. We mentioned it a lot because only after that moment could we use our proper eyes to watch the tidal bore. So it's like the tidal bore will first make a checking by this point of the old water tower, and then it really comes. I can hear the cheers and also the voices from the crowd. They start to get very excited to see this tidal bore. Have you seen this head of tidal bore? It's in dark color because it has stirred up the sediment on the bottom of the riverbed. Yesterday, the highest point of the tidal bore is at 1.7 meters, and today, because it's the largest tidal bore for the whole year, it will be higher than 1.7 meters. And now you can see the beautiful curve. If we could consider the whole trip of the tidal bore as a marathon, it is now already at the midpoint, and the tidal bore is running just in front of us. And after the tidal bore's path, we could see that the water surface has been raised. I don't know whether you could hear this loud voice of the water, the soaring sound of the tidal bore. It's like it's declaring its dominance in the place. At the same time, there are the waves running and dancing on the river, and I can feel the water drops on my face. And the marathon runner is now at Yanguan, and he has to catch up. Let's review a little bit. That is how the tidal bore passes by Yanguan, the place. Usually we say that the tidal bore would pass in the form of a letter I. It's like in a linear way. However, today it's more like in the form of letter S. We asked the question to the experts why it is like this. According to the expert, the upstream doesn't have so much water in it. And by the both sides of the river of the Qiantang, there are too many sediments by the riverbed. That's why when the tidal bore passes, they have encountered more obstacles by the two sides of the river. let's get back to the same of the crowd. It's a pity that we cannot pick out that one, the first comer for today's watch. Otherwise, I'd like to ask him one question. Do you think it's worth it? For the Chinese people, we have a long tradition to watch the tidal war. It started by the Southern Song Dynasty. Before the report, I could not understand why people are so enthusiastic about the watch of the tidal war. However, today, I have a deeper understanding. For example, there's a gentleman of his 50s. He's accompanying his mother to watch the tidal war. And also some young mothers carrying their children. And they are introducing this phenomenon to their little children. And when the tidal war passes, they are holding each other's hands tightly. For those traditional festivals and events, the Chinese people usually will stay with their family members. So when they come today, it's not only for the watch, but it's also a good moment to stay with their family. The next stop for them is at Qiantang, where we can find another phenomenon that is the backflow war. So please stay tuned with our program.
钱塘潮的形成可以说是天时和地利的完美结合。首先是
The
天时。
formation of the Qiantang tidal war. First of all, the gravity from the sun and the moon. Each month, according to the lunar calendar, on the 1st and on the 15th, the gravity of the moon and the sun would be on the same line, and these will have an influence of the ocean. And then 3 or 4 days after the 1st and the 15th of each month of the lunar calendar, there will be the biggest tidal bore in the river. And you can see that the width of the Qiantang River is narrowing down from the east to the west.
观众朋友们，我们即将看到本次钱塘潮直播中最为精彩的一部分，也就是老爷。
During the watch of the tidal bore, there will be one highlight. It is the backflow bore at Laoyanguan. There will be 3 different rounds of the backflow bore. You would see how it can hit on the bank and what is a backflow bore and how splendid it would be. And now you can see the crossing of the tidal bore.
在说什么？说什么？我在说话，对口型吗？现在形成了交叉潮，现在形成了交叉潮，现在形成了交叉梁，形成了交叉潮，现在有交叉潮，哎，有交叉潮，在这个位置很漂亮，像一个。 马上就没有了，准备没有了，准备不见了，准备没有了，交叉潮马上就不见了。
And very soon it will disappear. So let's follow this line of tidal bore.
“我这信号不好，刚才8226给我打电话，然后断。现在。
当潮水经过沙洲时，就会被沙洲分成两股，两股潮头。
And when the tidal bore passes by the sandbar, they will be cut into two sides. And when they meet together, they will form a crossing of the tidal bore. So there are a lot of uncertainties for the position of the appearance of the tidal bore. When there are no other obstacles like the sandbars in the middle of the river, and the tidal bore's head would stay in a linear way. So it's called the I letter form of the tidal bore. When we stand up on the pagoda, we would see that it's like millions of horses running forward. For the backflow bore, with the advancement of the tidal bore, when they meet some obstacles in the river, some part will be bounced back. For example, at Qiantang, there are so many T-shaped dams, and when some part of the tidal bore hits hard on these T-shaped dams, they will be bounced back. This is how we can have the backflow bore. And now the tidal bore arrives at Yanguan.
欢迎来到2018钱塘观潮的盐湾景区。现在呢，您
Welcome to Yanguan spot
看到了
to watch the Qiantang River tidal bore. Now you can see the head of the tidal
先来
bore.
进入我们现在一个现场。
According to experience, it will still take some more minutes for the final arrival of the tidal bore. On the 3 spots of observation, we have set up more than 30 camera positions. However, while waiting for the tidal bore with another 30,000 visitors here, we find that we cannot give you all the angles of the observation for the tidal bore. And according to the workers here, the first comer to watch the tidal bore arrived at very early moment. It's at 7 o'clock in the morning in the park. It means he's waited for 6 hours. And behind me, the majority of the people, they have waited for 2 or 3 hours. We say that the Qiantang tidal bore is one of the world miracles. The most important thing about it is to wait in patience. And to wait patiently is also one part of this experience. Let's look to the one unique direction to see where it is now, our tidal bore.
在屏幕上，您能够看到了这条远处的白线，
On the screen, you can see afar there's a white line.
等着的潮水，
That is what we are waiting for, the tidal bore.
盐湾景区靠近。
And it's marching forward in Yanguan spot. Did you see that?
水文塔
It has passed the new water tower
距离我们更近的蓝
and
色
it's moving to the blue water tower, which is the older one.
也是观潮的一个重要内容。我们就像
And we can see that the feelings that we are holding for the tidal bore while the waiting moment is also an important part. In elementary school, we read in the article that the Qiantang River tidal bore is considered as the world's miracle.
说都是慕名而来，第一次来看潮。
However, still for so many visitors here, it's the first time for them to see the tidal bore from the Qiantang River. We could see the magnificent tidal bore passing by the old water tower. You may find that we have mentioned this water tower several times because it's like a landmark. When it's passed by the tidal bore, it means that the visitors on the spot could use their proper eyes to admire the tidal bore. So it's like first the tidal bore would make a check-in by the old water tower, and he's sending out a message that sorry to keep you wait. It's the moment that we could hear the shoutings and also the cheers from the audience. People are getting excited to see this tidal bore. People have been waiting for so long, and now we have seen the head of the tidal bore. It's in a relatively dark color because the tidal bore has stirred up the sediment in the river bed. According to the experts, yesterday the height of the tidal bore is 1.7 meters, and today we have the highest and biggest tidal bore, so the height will be even bigger than 1.7 meters. Now you can see on the surface of the water there's a beautiful curve. From the estuary until this point, the tidal wall has gone all the way against the current of the Qiantang River. It's like a runner in a marathon. It's already past the midpoint of the course. And he's also continuing with his trip. The whole section of the water has been stirred up, and the surface has been raised up. I don't know whether you could hear the crying and the soaring sound of the water in the Qiantang River. It seems like the tidal wall is declaring its dominance on this section. And I can even feel the water drops from the river on my face. During the daytime, you could admire the tidal wall, and during nighttime, you could hear the sounds of the tidal wall. Let's have a look. During the daytime, you could feel the magnificence of the tidal wall, and it will be different during the nighttime, especially during the Mid-Autumn Festival. With a full moon in the sky, you can have a different experience with the tidal wall in the Qiantang River. Still, the tidal wall is not yet here, but we can already hear the sound. Under the pagoda, we have the instruments from traditional Chinese music team played in the traditional poems. It is said that after sunset, we could get together under a beautiful tree. So, whom do you think of? Maybe a family member, maybe your lover. Please follow our camera to see the tidal wall. In the middle of the river of Qiantang, you could already have a glance at the head of the tidal wall. That is the nighttime tidal wall that we are waiting for. Maybe we could see that panorama of the whole tidal wall, but you could see that silent and elegant voice. And this beautiful sound has brought to us so many imaginations. In the middle of the river, suddenly the water has become much more active. It looks like a general in the army. We have also traditional Chinese poems describing this kind of scenery. The general seems to have a bite of the drink, and he has also poured half glass of the wine into the river, and then thousands of the horses are marching forward, are running towards ahead. And the general has turned into a famous person in history whose name is Zhang Fei, and he has shouted aloud and he's pacing forward. From the image captured in the sky, you could see that after the passing of the tidal wall, the river is still very active. And then what you have seen before seems only imagination that you could have after some small drinks with your family members. And the most important thing now is to have this getting together with your family members. There were some other people playing with the tidal wall. It is the international surfing contest. It will start by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's have a talk with Liang Ye, the journalist on the spot. Okay, Zhou Li. After watching the tidal war, we are starting to expect another famous event, that is the 2018 International Surfing Contest. According to the timetable of this Qiantang River tidal war, the International Surfing Contest is about to start by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's look over there. To that direction, the bridge is called the Bridge of Jiangdong, and ahead is Haining, and over there, even farther, it's the city of Hangzhou. Here is the starting point of the contest, and when there is the tidal war with us, all the surfers will get into the river. Now they are taking a rest at a port 3 kilometers away, and when the tidal war is here, the surfers will also come to the place to prepare for the start. This is the third day for the group competition. Let's have a review on the previous 2 days. This year's event includes 9 teams of different countries. All the best surfers in the world have gathered here in the province of Zhejiang. For the 2 previous days, we have the Spanish and Australian groups. They have already been qualified for the final competition. To surf in the river is quite different from the surfing in the ocean. For those surfers participating in the contest, they are very experienced surfers with the ocean. However, they still have to adjust themselves to the conditions in the river. It's more challenging and it's more demanding for their techniques and skills. We know that the waves are unpredictable. It's hard for us to have a full linear form of the waves. You have to be careful to find the best wave, and you have to adjust the movements. You will try your best to have the highest coefficient of the difficulty. Until now, none of the surfers have succeeded in getting the full score for their actions. For yesterday and the day before yesterday, we have 2 rounds of the group competition. Today will be the 3rd day. And the starting point of the route is here. We will go against the current of the river until the Qiantang River bridge. Together, it will be 30 kilometers. There are several sections. The first section is from where we are to a place 10 kilometers away. The second section is another 10 kilometers. The more you are close to the upstream, the smaller the waves there will be. And you know that the best performance would come during the first section, that is where we are now. And today, the US team, the Indonesia team, and the South Africa team will get in the water. And the US team is the strongest one. And for the Indonesia and the South Africa team, it's the first time for them to surf in the Qiantang River. And Xiazhou will continue with the report by 2 o'clock in the afternoon to give you the comment. He will be the commentator. So, Zhou Li, that is the information now on the spot. Thank you. The qualification contest has also started. Let's have a look. Every year by the 18th of the lunar August month, there will be the highest tidal war for the Qiantang River, and starting by the 15th of lunar August, we can start to come to the riverbank to watch the tidal war. It's magnificent, and duration is not very long. Apart from the linear board, the backflow board, and also the crossing board, you could also join the international surfing contest. For example, this year we have 9 teams from China, US, Australia, etc. These surfers, they would compete in the river. And for the surfers from the South Africa and also Indonesia. It's the first time for them to compete in the Qiantang River.
And it's a lot of time in the ocean. You've got to drive out there, 1 hour out there, 1 hour back. So a lot of time on the jet ski bouncing around. It's hard work.
Every time when there's the tidal bore, each team will send out 2 players, 2 surfers. One is driving the motor boat, another is responsible for the surfing. And when the surfer drops into the water, and the other one on the motorboat will take care of his teammate. It's a good chance for us to communicate with the other national teams, and it's a rare competition occasion for us to come to the Qiantang River. It's a very precious opportunity. We will have 3 days of qualification competitions and to have the finals from 大缺口 to 老盐关. Along the route, my colleague, Mr. Gao, is on the helicopter to show you from the sky high how it is happening with the tidal bore. And now, where is the tidal bore? Let's have a talk with Gao Yang. Hey, Gao Yang, what is happening now? I'm still in the helicopter to give you the live stream report. We are flying at a height of 100 meters and we are just above the head of the tidal bore. The tidal bore is about to enter the Qiantang spot. You can see that the tidal bore has cut the whole surface into 2 parts. Before the coming of the tidal bore, the surface is just like the mirror, and after the passing of the tidal bore, the whole surface would be stirred up. A lot of fishing boats are hanged by the banks of the river, and there's also the red vehicle far there to capture the image of the tidal bore. My colleague Jia Ling is at Qiantang to give you the on-spot report. Okay, Gao Yao. We're about to see the biggest highlight of our observation. There are 3 things important about the backflow bore. You can see that just ahead, the tidal bore, about 600 meters, there's a T-shaped dam. Later, the Qiantang River tidal bore is about to hit hard on the T-shaped dam, and then some part of the water will be bounced back to form the backflow bore, and you could see how magnificent it is. And at the spot of Qiantang, the crowded people, each person holding a mobile phone to take a record of this unforgettable moment. And I think that everyone's a little bit nervous about this. For each year, there's a lot of uncertainty about the tidal bore. We don't know when it would come, and we don't know whether there will be a backflow bore. Today, the speed is very fast, and the tidal bore's head is about 100 meters away from the T-shaped dam. From this point, you can see that there is a beautiful curve on the surface of the water. According to Su Shi, the poet from ancient China, there is a very beautiful description on the curve of the head of the tidal bore, and the head is about to hit hard on the T-shaped dam. While in the middle of the river, that section has hit first, and then there are 2 layers of the tidal bore. The highest point is more than 5 meters. First, by two extremes, the hit happens first, and then we could see the form of the backflow, or it will be in a triangle form because by the two extremes, the water will come faster. And the desk of the commentator is just by the side of the T-shaped dam. So just now, it's not only a visual carnival, but also a sound festival for us. And more than 10,000 people, you're amazed at the same time. Maybe in front of your TV screen, you cannot tell how exciting it is to be in the sight to see. And after the hitting on the T-shaped form dams, there are more than a dozen of separated heads of the tidal bore. And then you would see a supreme high tidal bore. There is a bridge on the seawall of the Qiantang River dating back to the Qing dynasty, and later you could see how this tidal bore would hit hard again on the seawall. The ancient littorals have written a lot about the backflow bore, because after the hitting, you could see the dozens of separated and the broken heads of the tidal bore. And the soaring tidal bore is about to come into formation. Wow! The highest point is 11 meters. Some of the waves have even arrived on the bank. And now we could see the soaring tidal bore and the backflow bore have shifted their direction. They are flowing back to the ocean. Sometimes it's just like in our life when we meet difficulties in our daily life. It's like the tidal bore meeting the obstacles. We think that there's no other solution. However, there will be a second chance or a new opportunity waiting for us. This is the slow down action. I think there is a very good description of this moment. It's like the pearls and the jade spilled around. The moment of formation of the backflow bore, and between the southern one and the northern one, there's an angle. That is the moment of the soaring tidal bore. The highest lantern is at a place of 11 meters, and our tide is even higher than that. The backflow tide is away. However, the visitors, they are reluctant to leave. They are trying to move closer to the surface of the water so that they can take more beautiful pictures. According to the official statistics, today there are more than 10,000 people on the spot to watch the event together with us. Today is the 18th of the lunar August. It's a big date for the observation of the tidal bore, especially it arrives just several days after Mid-Autumn Festival, so you could come to watch the tidal bore together with the whole family. That's all for my presentation.